All right, guys. Good morning. Matthew, thank you for becoming a priority member. Appreciate that, Matthew. If you guys want to, I'll get the Google Docs up for you. If you guys are a member of the channel, you will be able to see that Google Docs. Let me go ahead and get that for anyone today. So, here we go. Yep. CPI data today, guys. CPI data. That's the key today. That is the key. So, good morning. How we doing? It's Friday. At least it's Friday, right? At least it's Friday. That's always good. It's good to be Friday. Get a little bit of a weekend. We got a big F1 weekend. If anyone likes watching F1. Huge race, of course. It's the last race. Decides who wins the championship. It's actually practice right now as we speak. There's practice going on. So practice today, qualifying tomorrow, and then the race on Sunday. Good Steelers-Vikings game. Yep, definitely last night. That's for sure. I had Dalvin Cook and I don't know how to pronounce his name, the tight end for Steelers. Firemouth. So that was nice. About 46 points between those two. That's great. CPI data is at 8:30 today, guys. 8:30 in about 28 minutes. So let's go ahead and just get started. Let's get through as much as we can before that comes out. I will say that a lot could change from what we talk about before 8:30 to after 8:30, right? So a lot could change. So I don't want to get into too much before that because there could be a lot that changes just from that simple economic news. But we can still look at some stuff, right? We can still take a look and get ready for the day. I think the biggest thing we should focus on before CPI is probably the futures, guys. If you didn't watch my video yesterday, then stay tuned here to make sure you know what levels to watch today. If you did watch my video yesterday, this will just be a little bit of a recap on some of those levels as we open up this morning. So let's go ahead and get started. Here. So here's the schedule for today. Of course, futures, it's going to be huge today. Economic calendar is CPI data, inflation data today at 8:30. We don't need to go over that. That's the biggest thing. Earnings, nothing too much on the schedule today. I don't think it's even worth looking at. What is it? Academy Sports, I think, is like that's a sports company, right? This Academy company. Let me see here. I think that's what that is. Academy Sports and Outdoor. I mean, if you guys are interested, sure. I'm not. So, Academy Sports and Outdoor earnings today. Looks like I'm lagging a little bit. You guys see that lag? Financials. So I think financials are something not to forget about today. Financials will definitely have some type of effect or will get affected in some direction because of CPI data. If we get anything about interest rates, I don't think there's going to be anything coming out about interest rates, but if the data shows that an interest rate should come, then that might affect banks, right? So you might start to get ahead of a potential rate hike in the future, which would probably benefit banks, right? Higher interest rates helps banks. The loans they give out, they get more percent on their loans, more percent on their money, thus making more money for the bank. So any scenario where an interest rate hike could be on the horizon is a good thing for bank stocks. So I'm definitely going to watch JP Morgan today. JP Morgan is the one that usually responds the best to these things. So I'm definitely going to watch JPM today. I'm going to watch Bank of America. Those two are pretty strong. What I've learned in the past, and actually from someone here on the live stream, Goldman Sachs does not perform as well because Goldman Sachs is a little bit more of an investment bank, right? So they're not so much like a retail bank where they're giving out loans to consumers. So Goldman Sachs doesn't perform as great, to those types of things. It probably will move up with the sector, but I think JP Morgan's probably the one to watch. So let's watch that, because JP Morgan, of course, has Chase Bank. So yeah. Roblox, it tried to break out of a flag, failed yesterday off a pretty weak day in the NASDAQ, so it's back to support. So let's go ahead and look at that. Tesla, starting this morning right at that $1,000 level. Let's see how this responds today. Of course, inflation data will probably affect this. So let's see Tesla at 1,000. Earnings yesterday, Costco, Lulu, Oracle. Oracle was the clear winner. But, excuse me, Costco and Lulu, great companies, earnings out of the way. I would look at them. Costco, I think, is about flat off earnings. I think slightly higher. And Lulu's just about the same. So not much moves on them, but Oracle was a big winner. Oracle up pretty nicely this morning off of earnings. Apple, very resilient. Just crazy. Yeah, we can check out Upstart after. Crazy hold on Apple. Something I've been trying to, uncover this, the reasoning for all of this. I mean, if you guys know, you guys can feel free to share your opinion in the chat. But Apple has just been so strong, man, and it's just held up so great. It makes sense. It's a great stock to be in. It's a pretty safe stock, right? And it's definitely shown that its resiliency, because it's been holding up fantastic. So Apple, gonna look at it again. Looks very, very good. Continues to look very, very good. Home Depot yesterday bounced nicely, pulled back later day, but nice bounce off 410. We actually looked at that 410 level yesterday in the live stream. So let's take a look at that 410 level on Home Depot. Car, Avis Budget Group, is approaching a flush point, and you guys know Car had a monster day. I don't know, it was maybe like a month ago. It was just up straight up. So off of earnings, so Car, if it breaks this key level that I'm going to show you today, I think there could be a nice flush to the downside. And then finally, AMD yesterday. AMD pulling back to support yesterday, sitting at a very nice support level, which is definitely worth watching. So we'll look at those. Those will be the stuff from me. But then we'll, of course, look at more things towards the end. I'll add NVIDIA to that. We have Netflix, UNH, Tesla, we already have that, so we'll look at Tesla. Upstart and Affirm and NVIDIA, those are from the members. So if you guys are a member of the YouTube channel, you press that join button down below, you get access to this. This little Google Docs where you can put tickers, and we can look at them on the stream towards the end of the stream. So if you guys are a member, make sure to go in the pinned chat. The pin message that I sent in the chat, and you can go ahead and find the Google Docs link there. All right. So we have about 22 minutes before... Uh-oh. What happened here? Oh, I see what happened. I'd set up this OBS thing with the watch list on here, so I got to keep watch it. I would like to make it so I don't need the watch list, but look what happens to the little ticker thing. So I got to keep the watch list up. All right, NASDAQ. So guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's get ourselves prepared for this 8:30. Let's get ourselves prepared for what levels we need to be watching. I think we stick on the 4-hour chart today. I think the daily chart's a little bit too... daily chart doesn't show us enough. You know what? I don't really see much on the daily, but what I do want to show you is the weekly. So the weekly actually shows you something, a little bit something. It's nothing that I would trust tremendously, but it's there. So here's the weekly chart, right, on the NASDAQ. And you guys see that blue line on your chart? That is the 20 SMA. That's the 20 SMA, 20 simple moving average on the weekly chart, which is a very strong level. That's a very, very strong level. Anything on a weekly chart is typically a very, very strong level. So you have that pullback over the last 2 weeks to that 20 SMA. Now, of course, CPI data could mess this up, but if you look at what's happened over the last, how long, let's just say this is So this is right here. This is This is the beginning of 2021. This red line, this is 2021. This is 2020. So for the entire year of, could you move the symbol down a touch? The time frame's over here. Oh, you're looking at the one over there, huh? Yeah, I can move that. If you're looking at the one down there, I can move it for you. There you go. Yeah, there's time frame up here in the top left, guys, on the TOS charts, and there's also time frame up on the top right here. Top right time frame is right here, weekly, and then you can also look at the time frame over here. It says NQ 3-year weekly, so you can look at it both those directions. I'll actually make it so that's magnified as well for the next stream for you guys. So the red line on your screen, that's the beginning of 2021. So here is the entire year that we've had on the weekly chart, and you guys can see at every point this year it's a very consistent type of, the market moved in very consistent patterns. You can see, guys, it's a nice push, little 3-week pullback, nice push, little 3-week, 4-week pullback, nice push. This was the only inconsistency in the market this year. This stretch between May and September, just an awesome rally. A little bit of a 4-week, 3-week pullback, nice push, little 2-week pullback. What happens next, right? What happens next? Does this continue this pattern? Do we continue the pattern that we've seen for this entire year, or does this change here? Does the trend? This would be definitely an inflection point in the market, right? If we start to change this trend that we've seen for this entire year, what happens next? What do we see next? So this is a big time in the market. If you're here in the live streams, you're definitely watching at a very important time here. Today is going to be a very important day. So here's the weekly chart. You can see a 20 SMA hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like it did every time this year. Does it push higher? Part of I like to be on the side of statistics at times. So statistics would tell me that yes, it will, or odds. If you play the odds, if you play the historical, what's happened in history, will it happen again? That's on your side, for it to hold. But of course, things change, so you can't really just trust that 100%. You can say, you can put some trust in it, but it's not something you can just say, oh yeah, it's going to happen, because that's what it did, every other time. So we'll see if that happens. Of course, that's just something I wanted to show you guys. It's something to keep in mind. It's not there's no magical formula to for sure know what's going to happen, but that is something I wanted to at least show you. I want you to be aware of it. If you're here on the live streams, I want you to be aware of the things I am looking at. So that's the weekly chart. Here is the 4-hour, and yesterday we pulled back to a very interesting level. So you guys can see we have previous resistance. We have previous resistance, support, 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 support. And what happens today is it support again. This is a huge level on the NASDAQ, 16,110, 16,120, right in this area, this little range that you got going. This is a very big level. We have pulled back to this level multiple times, and in the past we've held it. This time we did not hold it. We fell through because this was during the virus concerns that happened. So this is that drop down. This is the retest rejection. Guys, it's right in the top left of your screen. Right there. NQ. It's right there. Right up. Right over here. It's right. Let me see if I can. Right there. To the left of that. So 16,120. Big level. That's what I'm watching today. If we go to the 5-minute chart, we can see right here that this is Friday of last week, and then Tuesday of this week, and then this week right here. So you have you have the rejection right there. You have a little bit of consolidation support there. Yesterday you bounced off of it. What happens here, guys? That's the big question. What happens here? Today on inflation data, do we see this? Or do we see the big 16.4 breakout? Do we not get anything? That's another option. That's always another opportunity. Do we get nothing at all? that's something that'll be interesting to see as well. So we are at a crucial level here. As we approach this 8:30 in 15 minutes, we're going to find out. But that is the pullback that we got yesterday. That is the hold. And I'm very interested to see what happens today. All right. That's the NQ. ES, guys, is basically the same exact thing. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's the exact same thing. You have a channel here that we are holding right here at 46.60. 1, 2, 3. Support turned into resistance. Does it turn back into support right here? That is what I'm watching. And we'll have to see today off inflation data. That's it. Could this be a little bit of a flag on a very nice breakout? Yeah, I think it could. You know, if inflation data wasn't coming out today, I would say this is very bullish because this is a break and retest. And this is a very nice previous resistance potentially turning into support. That's bullish in my book. But the only problem is we have economic data approaching. So you can't just trust the technicals 100% when you have an economic data like that approaching. So if it wasn't for economic data, this is a bullish formation. This is a break and retest. This is previous resistance turning into support. And we'll have to, and you know, you'd have to just wait and see if it breaks this little flag. So that's what I'm watching. Finally, or we can look at the Russell too. But here's the Dow. You guys can see the Dow actually outperformed pretty well yesterday. Pretty nice Dow outperformance, and you got a pretty nice hold here on the Dow. You have a nice hold above 35.50. A little bit of a flag pattern forming, right? So if you get this little flag breakout here on the Dow, you know, it could be a nice little move. You guys can see that right here. A little bit of a flag. Nice little support below at 35.50. You probably want to see a break over these highs, which is where we keep on getting rejected, which is right around that 35.9. So let's see if there's any Dow outperformance today on inflation data. If banks start to move, Dow is probably going to be pretty strong. So if you get a bank move today, financials, the Dow will definitely take advantage of that. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Yeah, AbbVie was awesome yesterday. If you guys are not aware, I've been in an AbbVie call option, ABBV. I've been in a January 110 call since October, and it's just, I thank God I had that because that thing just keeps going up. So I'm very happy to have that. I actually might even, I'm toying with the idea of exercising that call option because ABBV is a fantastic stock to have in a long-term portfolio, which is where I took this trade. So this could be a great stock to exercise, a great option to exercise and get 100 shares of AbbVie at 110. My strike is 110, so it could be a nice little addition to the long term. So this is the Russell. Just in a trend, guys. I mean, just in a channel, you know, just channel trading Russell. Trading in between this trend is tough. You know, maybe you get a little retest here. Let me show you. This is a really short-term retest, but maybe you get it here. You can start to see maybe it's starting to do it, right? Right here. You guys can see maybe a little bit of a previous, actually it's a pretty big level actually. You can see previous lows, turn into resistance, turn into resistance, turn into resistance, push higher, retest, look at where it held. It's no magic. It's not voodoo. It's just a classic break and retest. Technicals are real. They are indeed real. Because if technicals were not real, why is it holding at this level? It is holding at this level because this was previous resistance, right? Previous resistance, 1, 2, 3, break, retest, nice hold. Do we hold this level today? This is your Russell level for you today on inflation data. Right here at 2110 or 2210. We did the ES already, supercar. So you can go back on the live stream if you want. The ES is the same, or the SPY is the same as the ES. If you guys are not aware, the ES, so like 4660 guys on the ES, that's 466 on the SPY. Just take the last number off, right? So it's 466 on the SPY. You just take the last number off on the ES. The ES is just 1,000. You just add a 0 to the end. So like 470 on the SPY is 4,700 on the ES. So if I'm talking about the ES and I say 4,700, know that that's just 470 on the SPY. It's the same exact level. All right. So that's the futures, guys. Big levels. 10 more minutes until we have our inflation data. Let's go ahead and take a look at banks. Moving averages, crossovers. I don't. I'm a little bit more heavy on the technical or on the price or on the supply demand on the the structure points in the market. I'm a little bit heavier on that because that is really what holds, Angela. That's like what I see hold more than anything is like previous demand zones, resistance zones, where is previous price action holding. That is like, that happens all the time. Moving averages are a good, I definitely look at the moving averages, the 20, 50, 100 on the daily chart, but it's not, there's definitely a lot more times where that'll fail you than just looking at previous levels of resistance or previous levels of support, using that price action, that structure in the market. I like to stick with that. I like to keep it simple because that works. It works for sure. I mean, it 100% works. It's a matter of of catching it the right way, but it definitely does work. It's just a matter of us catching it. That's the hard part. All right. So financials. Let's take a look at JPM. So JP Morgan. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, with 8:30 inflation data, we're going to be here live. So if you guys want to stick around when that data comes out, we'll be looking at the futures, looking to see the reaction. So here is JP Morgan on the daily chart, and a little bit of an uptrend. I gotta be honest. You got a nice little uptrend here that's starting to form. You have a low 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I do both too, Angela. I favor the structure than the moving averages, but everyone to each their own. So 1, 2, 3, little uptrend. I like that. Does JP Morgan try to break out of this today, or at least this week? Maybe off of some positive data for the banks. That's something I'd watch. Or you have your very nice little breakdown. This is a pretty big point for JPM right here. Is it a breakout or breakdown? Similar to the title of this live stream. I think the data will decide that. So I would definitely watch JPM today. JPM's at a very interesting point at this uptrend, starting to consolidate. I think you get a move here, but you got to wait for this data to come out. So JPM, Goldman Sachs has been in a little bit of a channel. 1, 2, 3, 4, nice little channel bottom here. You can even call it around 375 if you want to bring it down. That's like the extent of the range, right around 375 to 380s. So nice little support in that level. And you're starting to sort of push higher out of that range. You're sort of in the middle of it. So this is not a place that I like to take trades. I like to try to take trades down here when I start to see us bouncing off support. Or, you take a downside, you take a downside trade as we start to push into this, maybe reject a few times, and then maybe push lower, right? So that I like to take trades at the channel bounds, either up here or down here. I don't like to take trades, let's say within the, the 50%, the 50, or let's say there's a standard deviation in the middle, right? What are the standard deviations again? They're like, I should know this because I went to college with this, but so if there's like standard deviations in the middle here, I don't like to take trades within these standard deviations. I like to take trades at the top or the bottom, the extent of the deviations, because sometimes you'll get, that change in direction. But trading within these standard deviations, like really within the middle of, this zone, it's just an unknown, man. Trading within here is a total unknown. How do you know what direction this is going, within this the middle of this channel? So if you see a stock that's in a channel, I would prefer to be trading it at the bounds of the channel rather than trying to guess what happens in the middle of it. I think that's a little bit difficult. So let's see what happens today there for GS. We can look at Bank of America. Bank of America is actually at a very interesting level as well. You guys can see a little break and retest. If banks go up today, I think back should be one that you definitely watch because you have a break, retest, support hold here, which is a previous level right here. You guys can see these previous highs, and you have previous highs into support. 65.95, 99.7. Yeah, I think you're right. And there's a first one. Is it 32? Yeah, sorry. I should know this. I'm going to look it up. Standard. I'm just saying standard deviation. You guys, it's not like the standard deviation channels that you used. Yeah, it's 34.1, right? 34.1. No. Why is this so different? I don't know, guys. I should know this, but I don't. No, you're right. Yeah, it's 68.2, 95.4, 99.7, right? That's the standard deviations. So it's like 34 is one of the... So yeah. So if I go back to that example on Goldman Sachs, this is your 68.2, right? Because if you look at this, look right there, your standard deviation channel, the middle part, 68.2. Hard to guess what happens there. Little easier to guess what happens at the extent of the deviation channel. That's just a little, I would call that a little bit of an analogy. I don't know if that's not like a real trading tool there, guys. I'm just sort of putting an analogy on trading in the middle of that channel. Anyways, I guess it sort of is a Fibonacci level, right? What else? Bank of America, we looked at. So those are the banks, guys. I'm just trying to kill some time. We got 3 minutes here. I don't want to look at too much before it because there's going to be a lot that changes. Here's the VIX. We can take a look at the VIX. You guys know the VIX shot straight back down over the last few days. Yeah, Bollinger Band, sort of similar like that. Yep. So $30 we went up to 30 on the VIX, dropped back down really quickly. Of course, guys, the VIX, if you're not aware, is mean reverting, meaning that every time the VIX will always revert to the mean price. Now, the mean will always maybe the mean may increase over time, which would cause this to start to increase over time. But usually that doesn't. Usually that, or at least in the past, that hasn't happened. You can see the mean's actually been dropping a little bit. You can see the mean is probably around, I don't know, probably around 18 is probably the mean for the VIX, right around this 18 level. So. If you guys are just joining, we already went over the NASDAQ levels for the report. I'm sorry. I guess I can just keep it on the screen here for the last 2 minutes before it comes out. Here's the hourly chart. So here's the levels that I'd be watching. This is a big level right here, guys. 16,120. We're going to get the report in just about a minute and a half, and we'll see what the market does. So this is the level I'd be watching, 16,110, right in this area. Do we bounce or do we reject off this level? I'm gonna get my breaking news out. Make sure I know when this comes out. I'm sure we're gonna see a reaction in the stock in the NASDAQ before I even see the data, because I'm probably not gonna be the first one to see it, because there's people that have a lot better technology and getting breaking news, like high frequency trading. So I'm definitely not going to be the first to see it, but we'll see what the reaction is here. We got 1,000 people here for the live CPI data. It's like we're going to watch a show or something. Press the like button if you could. I'm going to take a second. So, how's everyone's day? Yeah, I mean, we'll see if there's a big reaction. I mean, maybe it's a non-event. Who knows? Maybe it's a non-event. Banks are moving. Are they? Okay. I'll go back in a second. Let me just see. Yeah, banks are starting to move, actually. JP Morgan up a tad. Bank of America up a tad. A little bit of movement on the banks. All right, back to the NASDAQ. You guys seen that video where that the Squid Game coin goes to 0? We can replicate that. Oh, it went to 0. All right, a little bit of a pop. Let's see what we get. A little bit of a pop so far on the NASDAQ. You're starting to see this candle start to grow a little bit. Let me go to the 1 minute. Yep, that's a little bit bigger on the 1 minute. We'll see if it holds up, guys. We always know there's usually a second reaction here. Initial push higher, that's for sure. So here's another thing to remember, guys. Everyone knows inflation's going to be high, right? Everyone knows that. Like, if we get bad inflation numbers, no one's going to be like, oh my God, I didn't expect that. Where did that come from, right? I mean, we sort of know that that's going to happen. It just depends on how bad it is, I think. So let's see. I don't have the numbers yet on my side. If you guys have the numbers, just drop them in the chat. 6.8. 6.8. Yeah, this could be a fake out. Just wait for it. I mean, usually there's a second move on these futures at times. So this could be, be careful. I wouldn't be trading this right now. This could very well just be a little bit of a push higher. Month over month, 0.8 versus 0.7. The prior was 0.9, so it actually went down month over month. Right? It went down 1% month over month. Yeah. Well, month over month is going to be the most important one because they need to see what's happening in the short term. They don't year over year it's good, but it's definitely going to be higher, right? Year over year is definitely going to be higher, but month over month should be a good indicator of what's happening in the short term. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's definitely going to be the highest in a long time. I think the market knows that. All right. So inflation's bad so the reason inflation hurts tech stock, guys, is because inflation usually comes with rate hikes, and interest rate hikes is not good for growth companies. That's why you get downside on tech, or on at least growth companies, right? I guess you want to call it growth. The reason you get downside on the NASDAQ is because the NASDAQ is made of a lot of growth stocks, which need to lend money or need to borrow money. They raise debt to fund their growth, and the debt that they raise to fund that growth needs to be preferably at lower interest rates. In our time now, where interest rates have been so low for the last, say, 2 years, growth companies have been able to borrow money at extreme rates because they've been able to for cheap. It's been probably 1, 2, 3% for this money, and and they're able to do that. So that's good. That's a great environment for a growth stock, for a growth company to fund their business, to take out great loans, and to do whatever they need to do. Now, obviously, we've ran hot. And if inflation comes in, all right, guys, I mean, there's no reason to spam 6.8 in the chat. That's just ridiculous. But JJ, but if we run hot and we start to if inflation starts to come in hot, then, what does the Fed have to do? They may have to increase rates. They need to do rate hikes. Rate hikes come, interest rates increase. Growth companies can no longer borrow money at lower interest rates. You get a little bit of a tough situation for growth companies, right? Tougher than what it would be at 0% interest, which we've been at. So that's sort of how it affects the market, right? Or affects these growth companies. All right, I really don't understand the continuation of. Yeah, we need all right, so I mean, it's a nice pop, guys. It's not huge just yet. Bing bong. I need that soundboard, man. I need it. I gotta find it. Bing bong. So let's see what happens. You're getting a continued push here. I would love to see 16.3 hold. 16.3 was a nasty level yesterday. And 16.4, of course, is a nasty level. So, let's see. Let's see what happens. I mean, you can never be one directional during times like this, guys. You can never be it's coming into an event like today thinking that everything's terrible, the economy's falling apart, and it may be, you might be right, but that's just not how you play the stock market. You can't play the stock market that way, because they could they can make the consensus worse than they can make the consensus really bad, so that when it's not that bad, they can push the market higher, right? I mean, they play the game, right? So let's push the consensus up. Consensus is really high. Oh, it comes in a little lighter. Oh, great, market should go higher now. So just don't ever come into these days. If you got screwed here because you took like a bunch of SPY puts because you're trying to play one direction, hopefully just take that into consideration. It's very hard to play into these events. Very hard. It's basically just gambling. So yeah, it could be a trap. We'll see what happens. All right. Anyways, keep an eye on the futures. Let's go ahead and continue here. I think it's good for us to just keep on continuing on our day. So a little bit of a push higher so far. You got Roblox pushing higher in the pre-market. Here you go, guys. So little bit of a 4-hour flag. We tried to break out of that flag yesterday or on Wednesday. Failed it terribly yesterday after an ugly day on the Nasdaq. And we are back down to this support. So 115 on Roblox. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we've held here. I think this is a very interesting level. I continue to hold my Roblox through yesterday. I wasn't going to give up my small positions yesterday, guys, off of just a silly day. In my opinion, just a really small pullback. So that's why I did. And that, again, guys, it's very small. It's a very small percent of my portfolio. I never trade options with large percent of my portfolio. So no matter what happens, I can't lose all my money. It's just impossible because I don't allow myself to do that. So with a small amount, I wanted to see if Roblox can continue here. I like this technical data. We already sort of talked about the CPI data. We looked at it, Shauna. I apologize. We need to move on. So just keep an eye on the futures chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roblox, very interesting off this level, guys. I would definitely watch it. It almost held 6.8 times. You're right. Spam 6.8. Yeah, see, look what's happening here, right? This is the Nasdaq. Look at that hold that we're getting. So we talked about this level, right? Pretty big. Pretty interesting. Yeah, big Tesla bounce off 10 over 1,000. Very nice. Don't buy stupid crap. So that's Roblox. Tesla, let's go ahead and just transition into Tesla, right? So Tesla off 1,000. I still have Tesla calls. I know it was an ugly day yesterday, but again, money that I'm willing to lose. I thought, I don't want to be selling out of Tesla here when we're still above this $1,000 level. I think we have a very good chance of holding. We'll see if we'll see if I'm right or not. If I'm wrong, I take a loss on it. I move on. But I do have some Tesla here. Looking to see if we hold this 1,000. I would have liked to see us break above 1080, but we did not. We did not break above 1080. So we have this previous 1, 2, 3, 4 support turned into some pretty nasty resistance here. You guys can see right there. Turned into some nasty resistance. And we need to see if we can get back higher, right? So Tesla could still break down. This could be a little bit of a trap, of course. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on the market. We have a lot to make up from yesterday. But we have that $1,000 level. And if you guys are interested in maybe day trading Tesla off 1,000, that could be the last time we hit 1,000. You guys can see what happened, right? So the last multiple times we hit 1,000, we got nice little pushes. So watch 1,000 today. Watch 1,000. Why don't I trade the QQQ? I'm not interested. Not interested. Just like to trade these companies, trade technical levels. Costco. We can look quickly at Costco. Costco's sort of in this little flag that we have going on here. You guys can see it right here. Little high, lower high. Maybe we get a lower high here. Lower high here, you can see right here, potentially another rejection at this downtrend. I think Costco's a great long-term company. I think Costco's a great long-term company. However, Costco has been pretty pushed higher. It's been pretty pushed. This is a big move for Costco, about 26%. Do we need a little bit more of a pullback after earnings? It's possible. It could be healthy. It could be very healthy. Did he sell more shares yesterday? Yeah, so did ARK. So yeah, you're definitely sort of working against that. I totally agree with you there, Tran. So do we need a little bit more of a push down on the downside here? 515. You guys can see previous resistance turns into support. Do we need to see that support test one more time? Maybe. Yeah, Cost did have good earnings. So we'll see. Does it push higher? Does it reject? I would watch. Sorry guys, 1 second. Just annoying, man. Just so annoying. I would watch this 515. You guys can see previous resistance, support, and that's what I would watch on Costco. So watch that 515 if we do get a pullback. Actually, what is JPM doing right now? It's good. So you are getting a push higher on banks, like we talked about. You are getting a push higher on banks, like we talked about. Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citibank. What's Wells Fargo doing? So keep an eye on those banks, guys. You are starting to get that push a little bit. It's at least worth watching. Woo reported earnings yesterday. A little bit of a push lower. I deleted her message, Alvaro. I kicked her from the chat. So I can't stand people like that. Hopefully if you guys are here, I hope you're positive, respectful, similar to like what Josh says in, Stock Market Live. Shout out to the cult. Keep it positive and respectful. There's absolutely no reason to be negative here. I mean, if you come here to be negative, it's just you have no reason to be here. So keep it positive, respectful. Like Josh says, if you're part of the cult, make sure you are bring the cult here. Keep the same type of positivity. So Lulu, you're starting to break down on earnings. You broke down on earnings a little bit. You're down below this previous level, which I would have liked to see us hold. You can see right there, previous resistance. Would have liked to see us hold there, but we did not. So the next level that I would be looking for is this 414, which we are at right now. So 414, which we are at right now, is where, I'd like to see us hold. You have previous resistance. Does it turn into support here? Sorry, guys. People calling me when they know I'm on the live stream. Does it turn into support here? That's what I would watch. So 414, you guys can see, nice hold, potentially. You're wrong about GS? Okay, great. Thanks, John. Appreciate that, man. That's awesome. So Lulu 414, that's what I would watch today. And then finally, Oracle. Oracle, if you go to the 4-hour chart, you guys can see a very nice move on Oracle yesterday. So big pop off of earnings, big pop, bing bong over this 98, 99. Let's see if it tries to, CPI report already came out, Paul, came out at 8:30. Let's see if it pulls back to here, right? Right around there. See if it pulls back to that 99. That would be nice. You guys can see that push. You don't want to buy this thing just from this vertical move. You want to see a little bit of a pullback, right? So a little bit of a pullback to this 99 would be nice. Little previous resistance. That would probably present a pretty nice entry point. That's what I would watch at least. Because you don't really want to just buy this thing after going straight up like that. All right. Apple. Yeah, wow, we got 1,040 people in here. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all you. Anyone that's new, we like to keep it positive here. So I hope you guys come join the positivity. Let's look at some plays, look at the technicals, collaborate as best as we can. If you guys are just joining, CPI data was this morning. We are pushing we're pushing higher. It's nothing that I'm like ecstatic about because I don't know if we're gonna hold this. Futures sometimes will like to fake you out a little bit. come right back down. So I'm not going to go, chasing this thing out of the gates today, but we got to pop. Inflation's within expectations. You have a lot more to still move if you want to get up to yesterday's levels. We did make up for a lot of yesterday's levels so far. Basically all the way back to like afternoon yesterday. You have highs of yesterday around 16.4. And you can see that, we're creating maybe a little bit of a flag here, but this is a little bit dangerous in my opinion. I'd be careful here, guys. I'd be careful here for sure. So that's what I'd be watching. NASDAQ, nice push today. If you guys are new, if you guys just joining on, that's what's happening. That is what's happening this morning. Apple clearly got a big push with the CPI, with the NASDAQ, of course. 4-hour chart. You guys can see this stock has just been so strong, man. I took this on, I wish I held this. I took this when did I took it on Monday, didn't I? Hold on. When did it gets all caught up, guys. I took this on the 6th. The 6th was Monday, correct? So here's my trade on Apple. Wished I held it. I got in here on the 6th. I got a 1217, 170 call. If I sold those for about a 200% gain, I sold those the next day for 200%. And, if I would have held, I think it would have been up a lot more. So Apple's just been nuts. No one can expect for it to do what it did, but I didn't expect Apple to be this resilient over the last few days. Look at what Apple's done. Even with the market downside yesterday, this thing is still holding up beautifully. So on one side, Apple shares, I'm definitely an Apple shares holder. I would continue to buy Apple shares, but look at this beautiful hold. If the NASDAQ is actually strong today, guys, this thing's going to rocket through this resistance. If you actually get a NASDAQ push today, if you actually get a strong day on the market, Apple should definitely be one that heavily outperforms on this news. So I would definitely watch Apple. It's been ridiculously resilient. It's held up every day. And if the NASDAQ pushes higher, if it pushes higher than NASDAQ, then I think Apple will as well. So watch that 176 level is the level that I would be watching on Apple today. Home Depot. So Home Depot, I really liked where we bounced off of yesterday. Home Depot had a little bit of strength with the Dow. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me zoom back in. Home Depot had some strength yesterday with the Dow. And why did Home Depot hold up? It held up at this previous resistance. So what you'll see is you have resistance, you have resistance, you have resistance. You have some resistance here and here. It's everywhere. It's clear. Resistance all over the place at this 410 area. Now, what is a break and retest, right? You have a break, you have a retest, and you have a move higher, right? And what is going on with Home Depot right now? You have a break, you have a retest. You can see it right here. And it's a very nice move. So break, retest, hold the 410. I love to see that. Dylan, you asked me this on every single one of my videos, and now you're going to spam the chat with it. It's just unbelievable, man. Dylan, come on, man. I answer your question every time in my comments. You ask me this every single video. I'd have to look for you. I'm not a millionaire. I think I'm up like 6-7 grand in my portfolio, which is 10. It's like 20 something percent. It's around there. I don't. It's around 20%, Dylan. I'm not out here taking huge risks. I'm not your five figure a day trader. That's not who I am, guys. I take small risk. I focus on a lot of other things in my life. I don't think, options trading is how I become rich. That's not my plan. I'm not trying to become rich options trading. I know everyone on YouTube likes to measure their because of how much profit they make. That's not who I am at my core. I am not that person. I have a lot of, I'm not someone that likes to showboat. I like to diversify my income. Options trading is one of them. I try to help. I honestly try to help. That's my honest goal on YouTube, is to help people. It's not to show everyone, all this money that I make, that I'm, a huge options trader and I make hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. It's just not, that's just not what I like to do. I personally can't take that risk. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. to take risk like that. I'm very risk adverse, and I hate losing money. So I keep it very small. I try to help. As much as I can, and I'm an honest guy, and I'm not someone that's trying to get wrapped up in the whole rat race of who's the best options trader on YouTube. That's not I have no interest in that at all. I have no interest. Anyways, Home Depot pullback 410, nice hold. Like to see that. Would be interested in Home Depot. Would be interested in Home Depot if we get some Dow strength. That would be something I'm very interested in. Of course, I buy Home Depot shares every week. So, yeah. Because I take losses sometimes. So, yeah, I'm about on even with the S&P, I guess. I mean, I have SPY shares as well. It's crazy questions. So, anyways, Home Depot, nice hold. Like it. 412. See what happens. See if it holds that 410. That's what I'd watch. Car. I don't know why you would expect people's returns to be a certain amount. I mean, if you go about your day like judging people, like I don't know why. Why do I have to make 50%? I mean, some people have slow years. Some people have better years. Some people have great years. Some people have bad years. This year I'm up about 20. I'm happy. I'm happy. So sorry I'm not up 50 there, Sat. I wish I was, man. If you don't want to, if you don't like to watch because I'm not up 50% this year, then I totally understand. So car, 245. You have a very big level here at 245, right there. I think if you break this level, then I think you probably see a flush. We talked about this previously. You can see this chart. If you break below this 245, 1, 2, big level, this could be a pretty nice flush. I think probably back down towards this 183. It hasn't happened yet. I thought it will happen in the past, but it has held up very nicely. So until this starts to break down, I'd be very interested to see if it does start to break down. There's nothing wrong with being down year to date. There's nothing wrong with it, guys. Everyone loses money. I mean, this is not a competition. And people that make trading a competition it's such a terrible, terrible attitude. No one that is successful at trading comes here on YouTube or comes to places on the internet and troll people for losing money or for being not up, a certain percent on the year. It's just, you guys know that those type of people are not the people that you need to be listening to. So keep it, focus on yourself, guys. If you're down on the year, it's fine. It happens. People are down on the year. I've had red years in the past. So it's part of the journey, man. And the journey is what we're all here for. We're here to learn. So very nice little hold here on AMD. You can see 140, 1, 2, and 3. Very nice level. If the NASDAQ is strong today, then I would like to see that 140 hold. You guys can see this. 1, 2, 3. Nice 140 hold on AMD. I would look to see if the NASDAQ is strong today. I would definitely expect some strength here on AMD, for sure. I think AMD was probably a little bit sold off here over the last few weeks. You can see this thing's about 15% off the highs, which is pretty nice pullback. And if the market stays strong today, I would expect AMD to get some push here. You're sitting at a very strong level here at 140. I would expect something. I'm definitely going to be watching AMD today off this 140 level. This is a big level. I wouldn't expect it to drop below it if the NASDAQ is strong. Now, of course, if the NASDAQ pulls a quick one on us and the bull traps us pretty bad, then yeah, of course, AMD could fall under. But, that's why you give the market maybe 15, 30 minutes, see if it holds up, and then try to jump on something here. That's what I'd watch on AMD. All right, we're going to go over the members. Tickers real quick, guys. We got 5 minutes. We're going to go over Netflix, UNH, up. You guys should I don't like to ignore things in the chat because I think ignoring them is, just I should be able to, I should be able to talk to you guys and answer your questions. So, when I see something a little ridiculous, I'm always going to bring it up. I don't like to have that type of talk in the chat here on my channel. I don't like that. I don't like that negativity. So I'm always gonna bring it up, guys. I'm not gonna let that stuff slip in this chat. I guess that's just my personality. So, anyways, Netflix. You have a 615 level. You have previous highs. You have some consolidation here. You have a little bit of hold here and a little bit of hold here. Very nice little area here at 615. 1, 2, 3, 4. 615 on Netflix. I guess you can call it 610. Whoever put this in the members Google Docs, you said retest of 610. Yeah, it's around that same level. 615, 610, a little bit of a range. So yeah, I would watch it. The only thing you're going to need is you're going to need some NASDAQ strength. And also, the other thing I would consider, never answer your questions. Well, I can't answer everyone's questions, Michael. I'm sorry. I mean, it's impossible to answer everyone's questions. What's your question? I'll answer right now. 615, 610. Netflix has been a little bit tough. Netflix has not really been performing lately, so be careful of that. It might just be a little bit, people aren't looking at it as much. Not the strength just isn't in that sector right now. So be careful of that. But yeah, I would watch the 610, 615. UNH, I was in this trade. I caught this thing really nicely, and I took profits. And unfortunately, I looked to see, and this is what it's doing, right? So I took UNH. I wonder if I can find this real quick without wasting too much time. We can see how much. Here it is. Damn. So you can't win them all. That's right. I saw someone say that earlier. But yeah, look at this, guys. Taking a UNH. This was on the 23rd of November. Wow. I taught it. So this was the 23rd of November. Right there. And I took a UNH. Oh, this was okay. I took it December 3rd. So I couldn't even be holding this. So you know what? I take it back. I should have taken some more time on this one. This was too short of an expiration. If I would have taken a December 17th here, that would have been a pretty sweet trade. But you can see why I took it. It was a little bit of a break and retest, and this is what sort of happened out. So this is a great example of little pullbacks, little retests, just working out to be so nice. And this is a great example of it. Look at what UNH is doing after pulling back, coming close to that retest level. Wasn't perfect, but just beautiful, man. That was beautiful. So nice trade there on UNH. I would just continue to watch it if the Dow's strong. Michael, thank you, man, for the $4.99. Appreciate that. I will add. I'll try to get to those. I'm gonna have to go really quick. What's charge points? What's the ticker for charge points? Someone let me know. CHRG, I think. All right, Upstart. Sort of failed yesterday. 4-hour chart. This was the uptrend that I've been watching, but Upstart just hasn't been able to get over 200. So I'm going to continue to say what I've been saying. You need to see Upstart over 200. Over 200. That's what I would be watching for Upstart. NVIDIA, CHPT. Okay, thank you. NVIDIA looks the same as the NASDAQ, guys. It's the same exact chart. It's holding this little channel. You can see it right here. I would watch to see if NVIDIA can hold 306. That's what I'd watch. 306. ENR. Energizer. I don't even know they had a stock, to be quite honest with you guys. This is a chart that I'd be a little bit worried of, but you can start to see the holds coming in. I'd probably say if you want to try to trade Energizer, which I've never even thought about, probably want to see a break over this 40 area. If you get a break over that 40 area, then maybe you get a little bit of a technical squeeze there. MP. It's 9 o'clock, so I got to go, guys. I got to go quick. MP Materials. Looks like it's just getting into some really heavy resistance up here. Be careful of this area up here at 50. This looks like a very heavy level on MP. So watch out for that. FedEx. Remember you had that gap on FedEx. So you had the gap down. It filled that gap, filled the gap here, and look where it's finding resistance. So it's finding resistance at the top of this gap. So watch out. You need to see a break over that gap. for any upside. mRNA, I'm not going to look at a biotech, guys. I don't really trade biotechs. mRNA is down to, Jesus, 236 today. Yeah, see, this is why I don't trade biotechs, because it's just craziness. So I'm going to go over charge point for our buddy and Michael. Thank you so much. So charge point, daily chart. So, this is not typically a stock that I would trade, but this is not typically a stock I would trade, Michael, but I think it was Michael, right? Yeah, this is so, but you do have this hold here. I guess I had this level here for a while. You can see nice hold, 20, 20, and all of 20 here. I like that. Nice little hold there at 20. And I would just see if it holds. You want to see it give you a little bit of bullish confirmation first. This isn't really giving you much to say, it's time to go bullish. So, I would be a little bit careful here just buying this blindly. I would look to see if you could break above this 22. That's probably what I would be looking for. Break above that 22. That's what I'd be looking for. Right above that on charge point. I think you wanted to look at ARC-F, FinTech. So FinTech's been in trouble. That's why you've seen the names of Square and stuff go lower. So what you can see, which is pretty nasty, this is not a good look for this chart. You can see right there. Look at what it did. It turned previous support into resistance as it tried to push back higher. So be careful of that, Michael, right there. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. It's a 9:02. I think we had 1,000 people in here at one time. So if you guys could, that's awesome. Thank you so much for the support. If you want to continue to hang out in the live streams, press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to MSI, the sponsor of the stream. Go have a great day. NASDAQ's up about 136 points, up about 0.8%. Don't get trapped this morning. See if this thing holds up. You probably want to wait out at least the first 15 minutes of the market, guys. See what happens. See if this holds. Thank you guys again for being here. Sorry for those distractions today. A lot of people out there just like to, they like to hear themselves talk in the chat. It's okay. We're going to stay focused. Go hang out go hang out in Josh's live stream now. I would love to, if you're part of the chat, somehow get Josh's attention, man, for me. I'd love to talk to him. I think he's an awesome guy. We can try to have similar, come here for the pre-market, go to Josh for market hours. maybe someday. Maybe I'm just dreaming. But all right, guys, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.